Today on Seeking Wisdom, we're going to do a little book review and have a little conversation about one of our favorite books by a guy named Bill Walsh, and it's called The Score Takes Care of Itself.
Put on your seatbelts, people. We're going to bring it today. Boom!
This is a good day to do this because you're all fired up.
Ooh, I'm fired up. I'm fired up, wired up, ready.
Yeah. We'll have to do another conversation. It's related to carrying. It's related to carrying the water.
Exactly. We need a carrying the water part 2.
We need a carrying the water part 2. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so this is a book that has been kind of famous in startup circles for whatever reason. Business circles, yeah, because it's about leadership. Mm-hmm. But we recently went through and reread it and thought it would be a good one that fits in with what we want to talk about on Seeking Wisdom. So, Bill Walsh was the coach of the San Francisco 49ers. In his first season he took over, they went 2-14.
Legend.
They were one of the worst teams ever. Mm-hmm. And then within 24 months they won the Super Bowl.
What's that?
The Super Bowl. That's what we're all trying to do out here.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That's why you listen to Seeking Wisdom. That's what we're trying to do.
Let's try to win some Super Bowls together.
Anyway, the big point in his book is he had this thing called the standard of performance, which gets you, it gets you all hot and bothered.
Let's do it, man.
So tell me, what was it? Why did you like this standard of performance so much?
All I got to say is, where are the Bill Walshes of today?
Yeah.
We need some more Bill Walshes.
Basically, he just had his way of doing things, and he immediately came in and cleaned house.
I loved it because, when I reread this book and looked at the standard performance, I thought to myself, wow, this is actually something that a lot of companies do, kind of a thing that I've been doing in various companies, but I didn't have a framework, I didn't have a name, and it's one of those times when you do something and then someone puts a name to it and it makes it powerful, right? And that is the standard performance. And what I loved about Bill was kind of the same ethos that I believe in and that we all believe in here at Drift, which is the details matter.
Yeah.
Right? The details are everything. Mm-hmm. And it's the details that you need to focus in on. And if you focus on the small things, the big things take care of themselves, right? Just like you said, the score takes care of itself. And it's obvious to all of us, but it's counterintuitive to conventional wisdom, the way that people think. And they don't care about the details. They let the details slip. Uncle Bill would not let the details slip.
No. I think one of the things that he had this mindset that he set from the top, which was, if you're a part of, it's a privilege to be part of this organization.
Amen.
And so he said that his quote was if you're lucky enough to earn a paycheck from the 49ers, you have to do things a certain way. Doesn't matter if you're an accountant here, if you're a secretary, if you're a star receiver, if you're the head coach. If you
mow the grass.
It doesn't, if you're a maintenance man, you all have to do things a certain way. And so he basically set, the standard of performance was this list of things really detail-oriented stuff for football. So how they dressed, how their uniforms looked,
how they carried themselves,
how they treated other people. And so this is stuff that he said he came in, this was the first thing he focused on. He didn't focus on the X's and O's of football. He came in, cleaned house, and got this culture right, and had this standard of performance, which is interesting because this is something that we have been hiring a bunch of new people at Drift, and you were you should create a deck for marketing. So I'm leading the marketing team. You're you need to create a deck. You need to create the standard of performance for marketing.
That's right,
and that kind of sets the tone because it's hard to pass down knowledge unless you've written it out and sat down and walked through it.
Absolutely. And he, unlike most coaches, what Bill did was, instead of focusing on the score of the game, instead of focusing on how do we win more games, how do we get to the Super Bowl, he said, no, I'm going to focus on the fundamentals that Dave highlighted, which are fundamentals that they were doing, even when they were a championship team, would be considered boring to other teams. And it was that focus on the fundamentals and those plays and reps and sets that made them legends.
That's something that you mention all the time, reps and sets, right? You got to putting in the work, right? That's a big thing that we talk about all the time.
Actually, Uncle Arnold Schwarzenegger taught me that one.
Reps and sets. But he said the key thing is to act like a winner before you're even a winner.
Absolutely.
Right? So if
it's a mind game.
It's a mind game, and that goes down to all the details.
And having the, even down to how you communicate to people, having the showing respect to the people on your team and not tolerating those people who are disrespectful of your team. I believe in that so much.
Right.
And so I love this book. This is a book that you need to go out today, get a paperback copy just like Dave has here, put it next to your bedstand, start reading this book.
All right, so I pulled out a couple more things that I want to mention before we give the entire book away. But again, it's one of those books that like you already know all the answers. Just reading it kind of reinforces it.
Keep your eye on the ball, Uncle Bill says.
So the big thing that he invented was this whole idea of the West Coast offense, and all it meant. Here's the business lesson out of this. He showed up, and everybody did things a certain way in the NFL. They all had quarterbacks who could throw the ball a mile, and everybody ran their team that way. They didn't have a quarterback. They had a shitty quarterback. So instead, he said, you know what? Instead of redoing everything, we're going to make the most of what we have, and we're going to adapt. And this is my favorite quote. You put this in a company deck for us, and said, he says, that's the way we've done it, is the mantra of a team that's setting themselves up to lose to an organization that's not doing it anymore.
Woo! Man.
And that's the thing.
I
right?
passed out.
People are always like, no, that's how we've always done it. Oh, that's how we do it here. How's that working out?
Not well. Doesn't work for them.
And this is related to like a Jason Lemkin topic we had talked about before, which is comfort is the enemy of growth, right? Like you're always looking. His whole thing was like, how do you find ways to get more out of what you have instead of trying to always reinvent the system?
I'm looking at a section here from the book. It's called Be a Leader.
Oh, this is my favorite section.
12 Habits plus one. And it's kind of based on the concepts of Dr. Stephen Covey. And there's an underlying part here because Dave does his highlighting that I want to call out. Number 1, it says, be yourself. And the highlighted part is amazing. You must be the best version of yourself that you can be. Stay within the framework of your own personality and be authentic. If you're faking it, you'll be found out. Man, that is fire.
I highlighted that because that one was like, damn, you don't have to. If you're working on being a leader, you don't have to. I don't have to try to be you, right? I don't have to try to be some other person. You don't have to try to be somebody else. It's like, how do you pull out the best qualities? What's your leadership style, right? You're not running a team based on what Bill Walsh did.
Exactly. And he said, he opened that section by saying he's not Vince Lombardi, a legendary football coach. And Vince Lombardi is not Bill Walsh. His style is his style, and that's what works for him. And that's what we all need to remember as we're taking lessons from other people out there. What worked for them might not work for you. You need to lean into you, and you need to be yourself, and you need to lean on your own style. Take lessons from other people, but not try to emulate those people. There's one other section here that Dave highlighted that I want to call out. Okay, last highlight here. And it's in number 3. It's called Be Positive. And he said, I spent far more time teaching what to do than what not to do. Not many leaders do that. Far more time teaching and encouraging individuals than criticizing them. More time building up than tearing down.
Damn.
That is some wisdom right there.
That's wisdom. And we had talked about this. We did a book review. We talked about the 1 Minute Manager, right? One of the lessons from that book was, a lot of times it's easy to give somebody feedback when they do something wrong.
Yep.
Right? And that's what you default to. But this Bill Walsh lesson is, reinforce the positive stuff and the rest of it will kind of take care of itself.
In a little Twilight Zone moment here, I turned over the book, and as Dave was saying that about our talk about the 1 Minute Manager, there's a quote here from the Ken Blanchard, the author of 1 Minute Manager, and he said, the score takes care of itself. It's not about football. It's about how to treat people right and how to get the best out of the people around you.
That's awesome. All right, here's where we're going to wrap up the last part of this. He has a section on how you get good. You know what the secret of how you get good is?
Teach me, please.
The section is called How You Get Good. There's no mystery to mastery. You know what the secret is? Hard work.
Woo! Boom! That's the way to end it. I didn't even know that.
See, he talks about Jerry Rice and Joe Montana.
Tell me more.
Arguably
Legends.
the 2 best players at their positions ever. The best people.
Did you hear that? Ever.
And he said that those, by no coincidence, were the 2 hardest working guys he's ever met.
Really? That's strange.
That's weird how that works, right? He said you never stop. The difference between them and everybody else was they never stopped learning and refining their skills, right? Even in the last like years of their career.
Yep.
And they did all the stuff that the high school football players that he was trying to coach like in the community would never want to do.
Why not?
Because it was boring.
Oh, it's too boring for them?
They didn't want to do it. The details.
The fundamentals.
But you got multimillionaires out there, best players in the game doing it.
Wow, man. Uncle Bill. Bring back Uncle Bill.
All right, wrap us up. Send us out of here.
All right. Don't forget, we need you. This is a community. 5-star reviews. Stop hiding from me. I'm going to find you. Let's bring it. 200 reviews. We're taking over.
Yeah.
This is it. Do it for Uncle Walsh. All right?
Oh, we might as well give away some copies of this book, too.
Amen. Let's
tweet at us. Send a screenshot of you listening to this podcast. Tweet at us at Drift. And we'll send the first 5 people a copy of this beautiful book we have right here.
Right here. And I'm gonna add to that. Let's take it up a notch.
Usual,
all right,
as usual. What else?
I want to see your Snapchat game because I've been laying down some Snapchat challenges to Dave and to Amy here.
What's your Snapchat?
My Snapchat's DCancel.
Okay.
What's yours?
Dave Gerhardt.
Okay. So connect with us.
Gerhardt. That's right.
Gerhardt. He doesn't even know his own Snapchat handle. See what I'm saying? All right. So I want to see your game. Take a picture of you listening to the show. Send it to us. And we'll send you a copy of this book.
Damn, so you got 2 pass.
Well, 2 pass, but I'm going to evaluate your Snapchat game. Bring it. Let's see what you got.
All right. Have a good rest of the week. We'll talk to you later.
See ya. But I'm going to evaluate your Snapchat game. Bring it. He doesn't even know his own Snapchat handle. See what I'm saying?